It is said, Warne recalled with a smile, that he only used 2 words of command on the battlefield: forward and charge. Sir! Warne was jolted from his reverie by his sergeant's friendly Irish brogue. Mr. Hare to see you in the tower, sir. Very good, Flynn. I'm coming. Get on, Boney, leave it alone. Warne shouted at his dog, who was inquisitively sniffing a dead seabird on the grey, rough sand. As Warne turned to walk back up the beach towards the fort, the spaniel abandoned his trophy and trotted to his master. Warne, his dog at his heels, skirted around the walls and ditch that defended the seaward side of the tower before passing through the gateway on the landward side. It was a round, squat, solid construction, not unlike the Martello Towers which now formed a chain along the south coast of England. It was surrounded by a high wall enclosing several buildings. These were barracks for the men, a cookhouse, stabling, storage, and a magazine. As he entered the fort, the sentry came smartly to attention. Warne strode across the courtyard, a couple of chickens flapping and clucking out of his path, and into the tower. Ah, George, there you are, said Hare, looking at Warne. The 2 men were about the same height, an inch or 2 short of 6 foot and broad-shouldered, but George was slimmer, rangier. His hair was blonde, his fair English complexion deeply tanned by the Sicilian sun. His nose was prominent but straight in profile, not aquiline, and his blue eyes deep-set, almost hooded, giving him a purposeful, determined look. Good morning. Hare, like Warne, had been in Sicily since the 27th arrived on the island in 1806. He was a well-liked officer, highly thought of by his superiors. This morning, he looked every inch the British officer in his scarlet tunic with its buff facings at the collar and cuffs, his white breeches and well-polished boots. Shall we go up, sir? Suggested Warne. The 2 men climbed the steep stairs to the open platform on top of the tower. They walked to the parapet and looked out at the view. Laid out before them were the narrow straits, studded with white sails, with the Mediterranean beyond and the mountains of mainland Italy rearing up behind. On a sunny, late summer morning, it was a spectacular sight. George, I've received orders that you are to report to the General at Messina, Sir John Stuart. Do you know why, sir? I hope I'm not in trouble. No, it's some kind of special task, I think, but beyond that I don't know anything. When does he want to see me? At 2 o'clock this afternoon, in the Citadel. A few minutes later, Hare departed, down the stairs to the courtyard where he mounted his horse before clip-clopping out through the gateway. George remained on the gun platform, gazing at the view, wondering what the General had in store for him. It was not often that a mere captain, and a junior one at that, was summoned to an interview with the Commander-in-Chief. It must be something important, he decided, rubbing his hand on the cool, rough stone of the parapet before turning towards the door and the stairs. 3 hours later, George was sitting astride his horse, trotting along the new military road built by the British between Faro and Messina. It was now very hot. He was sweating profusely in his heavy uniform. This was, Warne knew, the best stretch of road on the entire island, although this was no great compliment, as many of them were scarcely better than rocky, potholed paths. He passed the 2 saltwater lakes at Ganziri, famous for their fish and shellfish, then the villages of Sant' Agata and Grotto di Pace, hugging the coastal strip. On the landward side, to Warne's right as he trotted along, there were orange and olive groves and terraces of vines clinging to the lower slopes, above which prickly pear bushes covered the hillside. On Warne's other side was the sea, with the Calabrian shore beyond. Drawn up on the beach were the local fishing boats, speronari, while the dark-tanned, bare-legged fishermen in their distinctive red caps repaired their nets or snoozed in the shade. Very sensible, thought Warne enviously, as he rode on towards Messina in the baking sun. He saluted as a party of artillerymen passed in the opposite direction with a limber and horses. Ammunition for the batteries at Faro, no doubt. Ahead of him, he could see the city of Messina spread out as if on a canvas. To the left was the sickle-shaped spit of land that formed the harbour. At its near end was the fort of San Salvador.